Have you heard about the country called Tartaria or Great Tartary? And did you know this was the largest country in the world? Well, I'm going to show you coming up.
I'm living in a sequel where my soul is just world. Anywhere I am not fine. It's not my world, it's not my dislike.
First of all, I wanted to show you this article from stolenhistory.org. Actually, this is a forum post, rather, or a forum thread. And there is some good information here. That was one of the bases of my research, so if you have a moment, just check this out. Also, there are good videos on YouTube about it, but there are a couple of things that I extended my research with, so I want to show you that. I want to show you with this Wikipedia quote, and it seems that this person, it looks like 2018, April 17, this is when it was posted. Let me check the next post. Yeah, probably it is, yeah, this year. So Wikipedia says Tartary, Latin Tartaria, or Great Tartary, Latin Tartaria Magna, was a name used from the Middle Ages until the 20th century to designate the great tract of northern and central Asia, stretching from the Caspian Sea and Ural Mountains to the Pacific Ocean, settled mostly by Turco-Mongol peoples after the Mongol invasion and the subsequent Turkic migrations. And I remember something similar being said by the videos that I watched. It was just like, it was just like an area, right? Or like a stretching tract. And they didn't say it was a nation or a country. So that's interesting, because it seems like Wikipedia is keeping track of what we are digging out and researching, because they updated this. So now it says Tartary, Latin Tartaria, or Great Tartary, Latin Tartaria Magna, so far so good, was a nation. Now it is a nation, not a tract or an area. Nation in the northern and central Asia, stretching eastwards from the Caspian Sea and from the Ural Mountains to the Pacific Ocean, inhabited mostly by Turkic peoples. Okay, so now they even put here a map that I'm going to show you anyway. So that's really interesting that Wikipedia is keeping track of what we are doing and updating their pages. Now, the other thing I was getting across when I was making my research is the similarity between Tartary and Tatars. So if I'm searching here for Tatar, you can see European areas north of the Black Sea inhabited by Tatary peoples were also known as Little Tartary. So basically it's a synonym for, people living in Tartary, which I haven't heard in any of the videos or research so far. And this is interesting because I never heard of Tartary before in the history lessons in school. No surprise. But I did hear we had lessons about the Tatars and the Tatar invasions to Hungary and things like that. But it was always called some sort of Mongolic people or Turkish, a kind of. It was said that they were Mongolic people, and it wasn't said that this was a nation or it was a country, but it was like a tribe that was trying to invade certain areas of Europe and Asia, basically. So it's really interesting that actually it seems that in Europe at least, or in Hungary at least, we heard about the Tatars, but it seems like in the USA they didn't seem to hear much about the Tatars. Or maybe again it is just the mixture or the difference between the Tartary and Tatars, because I haven't heard about Tartary before either. I did hear about Tatars. So I would like to know whether you guys, if any of you from Canada, USA, Australia, UK, France, anywhere from the West really, have you heard of not just Tartary but the Tatars? So I want to show you next the Tatars here, because I want to show you that this is really about Tartary. So you see there is like 20 results for Tartary. And it says, historically the term Tatars was applied to anyone originating from the vast northern and central Asian landmass then known as Tartary, which was dominated by various, mostly Turk-Mongol semi-nomadic empires. Yeah, that's what I actually heard. The nomadic kingdoms, and it wasn't a country really. Now, the interesting thing here was, when I looked at this article on the right side, you can see Tatars, and it says total population, and I thought they have already died out, you know, they no longer exist, but it seems like there is a total population of 6.8 million. I never heard this anywhere in my research, not in any of the YouTube videos anyway. So this is really interesting that Russia has 5.3 million, Uzbekistan 4.5 million, and so on, Ukraine, Kazakhstan. And then it also shows that the languages spoken by the population of Tatars are the Tatar language and the Russian, right? So let's go to Tatar language, which is the next page. I will link these in the description of the video so you can have a look at it yourself. The Tatar language is a Turkic language spoken by Tatars, mainly located in modern Tatarstan. And I was like, what? There is still Tatarstan, which is basically, could be Tartaria? So, I'm not sure, but it looks like they put these things together, and it may be just a deception that Tatar and Tartaria is the same or connected, but at least it seems that there are people who are called Tatars and they live in modern Tatarstan. So I thought that was really interesting. And then I checked out Tatarstan, obviously, and it says Republic of Tatarstan, which I had no idea about. And it seems like it is part of the Federation of Russia. Or simply, Tatarstan is a federal subject, a republic of the Russian Federation. So I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Here's the map. This is where Tatarstan is, which is Tartaria is shown mainly here, but also here. So I'm not sure, maybe they killed all the Tartarians or Tatars, and they basically left a small patch of country where the remainders of the people are there. Just as with Hungary, we were being a big empire, a big country, and they really reduced our size and pushed us down so that we can't do whatever we were doing. So probably there was something about the Hungarians and the Tatars or Tartarian people that was actually interesting or dangerous for the elite, so-called, those who are in power. Now, there was a document quoted from this stolenhistory.org thread, and I came to the original source, the PDF, which is, this is an official document on the CIA.gov website. I'm going to link this again in the description of the video, and it's like a document by the CIA, right? In June 1957, approved for release in 1999. And I just wanted to read two passages here, which is interesting. Muslims of Russia, Tatars of the Volga and the Crimea, Kyrgyz and Sarts of Siberia and Turkestan, Turks and Tatars of Transcaucasia, Chechens and mountain peoples of the Caucasus, and all you whose mosques and prayer houses have been destroyed, whose beliefs and customs have been trampled upon by the Tsars and the oppressors of Russia. Really interesting. Henceforth, your beliefs and customs, your national and cultural institutions are forever free and inviolate, or I'm not sure. Organize your national life in complete freedom. This is your right. Thus read in part a proclamation issued on 7 December 1917 by the Bolsheviks over the signatures of Lenin and Stalin, addressed to all Muslim toilers of Russia and the East. So it seems like these people, the Tatars from Tartaria, their mosques and prayer houses have been destroyed. I'm not sure why I'm saying destroyed, and their beliefs and customs have been trampled upon by the Tsars, which is, I guess, the leaders in the Russian Empire, the oppressors of Russia. That's really interesting. So perhaps this is the underlying story that was covered up, why we don't really know about Tartary, the greatest country on earth that ever have been. And there's another one. This was page 2, and I want to go to page 9, I guess, page 8. I think it is page 9. And we can read the following. Or let us take the matter of history, which along with religion, language and literature constitute the core of a people's cultural heritage. Here again the communists have interfered in a shameless manner. For example, on the 9th of August 1944, the Central Committee of the Communist Party sitting in Moscow issued a directive ordering the party's Tatar Provincial Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria, to liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes of a nationalistic character committed by individual writers and historians in dealing with Tatar history. I guess now I understand where has this gone wrong and why did we not hear about Tartaria, the greatest country on earth. Interesting. So it seems like Russians wanted to eliminate the Tatar history, and they had historians and writers to do this. In other words, Tatar history was to be rewritten, let us be frank, was to be falsified in order to eliminate references to great Russian aggressions and to hide the facts of the real course of Tatar-Russian relations. And this was no isolated case. In every Muslim area within the USSR, historians on orders of the Communist Party have rewritten history to distort the facts so that the Russians appear always in a good light. Needless to say, histories which present the facts truthfully have been withdrawn and destroyed so that the present and future generations of Muslims are forever denied the chance of learning the true facts of their nation's past. So it seems that there is some sort of a relation between the Tartaria and Muslims. I'm not sure if that was like the main religion of Muslim religion, the Islam, or was it just part of it, or was it main? I'm not sure. But it looks like they are talking quite a bit of Muslims here, which is interesting. So anyway, these are the starting points of my research, and then I want to show you some pictures here. So here is a book that is called Bellum Tartaricum, or the Conquest of the Great and Most Renowned Empire of China, by the invasion of the Tatars, who in these last 7 years have wholly subdued the vast empire. So it seems the Tartaric Empire, or the Tatars, or Tatars, subdued China. Interesting. Let's look at the next one. I just have to click here open to give access to my viewer. And this is, I'm not sure if it is the same book, but it says The Voyages and Travels of the Ambassadors from the Duke of Holstein to the Great Duke of Moscow and the King of Persia, containing a complete history of Muscovy, Tartary, Persia, and other adjacent countries. So if the sentence says and other adjacent or adjacent countries, then it means that Tartary was also a country, right? And we are not told that Tartary was a country, nowhere we are told really. Except old books, like the guy showed in that forum. So this is, I guess, from Encyclopedia Britannica, if I'm correct, or maybe I think this is probably still from the same book. It says, approach the armies of the Tartars, city of Karkaran, the first in which the Tartars fixed their residence, the origin of the kingdom of the Tartars, concerning Genghis Khan, first emperor of the Tartars, of 6 successive emperors of the Tartars, the wandering life of the Tartars, terrestrial deities of the Tartars, and of the Tartar armies. Okay, so they mentioned it a lot, and Tartaria had its own language. Here it says, in appropriate costume and sing in 6 different languages, Russian, German, English, French, Tartarian, and Italian, comprising the most brilliant gems of popular operas. Interesting. Yeah, I think this is the one that I mentioned from Britannica, but it is an old version, and it says Tartary, a vast country in the northern parts of Asia, bounded by Siberia on the north and west. This is called Great Tartary. So a vast country. It is a country. And here it is from the same encyclopedia. Square miles. Here in this column you can see the square miles, and we can see here under Tartary there is a Chinese Tartary, independent Tartary, and Muscovite Tartary, which is probably like 3 different provinces or areas or states, I'm not sure, but it is still under Tartary as a country. And the overall, I'm not sure even the overall population, because the Muscovite is 3 million square miles, plus adding these together, that's more than 4 million. And if you look at the other numbers, none of the other numbers match this even far. You know, so this was the greatest country, the largest country, just by square miles. Okay, so countries have flags, and here it is a flag of Petite or small Tartary. I think this is French, so that's why it is Tartary, and petite it's small. The next one, next one is again Tartaria. I'm not sure, this is a little bit weird characters here, but it's the same thing. And this is a Bowl's universal display of the naval flags of all nations in the world. Okay, so this is an official listing of all the nations of the world. Interestingly, never heard of this. And if we go and find Tartaria, which I'm going to find real quick. Here we go. So this is Empire of Japan, Empire of Tartary, and Tartary. So there is 2 flags. There is an owl and there is a dragon. So clearly, Tartary was a nation and a country back then, and we didn't hear about this. So why on earth do they want to hide this from us? Tartar's flag. I'm not sure what language this is. Again, Emperor des Tartares, perhaps Latin, but again, Latin country, and small Tartaria. These are countries, man. Empire of Tartary, Empire de Tartaria, And here, this is another one. The flags of all nations. Flags of all nations. And this is for Schoenberg's Standard Atlas of the World. Okay, so this is not just some sort of graphic design, Photoshop something. This is from a real book, you can see actually. And what do we see here right on the top? Tartary. Interesting, Tartary. Why is it that we never heard of it? Oh, actually there is a country called Pirates. Interesting, I never heard of Pirates. I never heard of the country Jerusalem either. What else can we find here? If we are already at it, it's interesting that some countries have like two flags. One is man of war and one is the merchant. The man of war is always like this ridged end flag, it seems. Frankfurt was a country and Lübeck was a country, I'm not sure. It looks like cities, but now they are now cities, but back then they were countries, it seems. Russia, Hanover, interesting. Again, now as far as I know, this is town Oldenburg. Never heard of these countries. Mecklenburg. Russia have lots of flags, it seems. Irish, Greece, Turkey. Interesting. Lots of countries actually that I didn't know. So as I just opened this up again, I didn't even see this before. There are more countries I haven't even heard of, like Pirates and Tripoli. Okay, so maybe there is more to this, and we need to make more research about these countries. Anyway, let's stick to the topic here. And I wanted to show this genealogy tree of the Tatars, the Empire of Tatars, and it seems like people mention Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan. Not sure how's it in English. In Europe we say Genghis Khan. And again here the map is Tartaria Magna, Tartaria Empire. So the great Genghis Khan started this country, it seems, or started the invasion empire, I'm not sure, but it's quite known from history, and it seems that it is just us who don't know about this. Okay, so I don't like to watch and I don't like to make long videos, so I'm going to split this topic into two. This was part 1 and part 2 with all the maps I have available that I found in my research that prove that Tartaria, Great Tartary, did exist, is coming up in part 2. What do you think about Tartaria so far? What's your opinion? Have you heard of it? Any other comments? Please comment in the video below. See you.